Human Displaced. My name is Springtrap and this is my sister. In My Little Pony Fanfiction. Prologue. I was going to my very first Comic-Con. It was the day that the first Five Nights at Freddy's game come out. I was going as Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and is my favorite animatronic. I yelled down the hallway, mostly in my costume, except for my head that I was holding in my hands. "Come on, Cassidy, we're gonna be late!" A door opened a second later, and out came my sister, Cassidy, dressed up as Elena Gilbert from Vampire Diaries. I nodded approvingly. "Looking good, sis." She nodded the same. "You too, bro." I then walked to the front door and opened it, letting my sister through first. "After you." I locked the door and went to my car that I worked on all summer, my shiny black 1967 Skylark Buick. We piled in, and we drove to the convention, which was all the way in Meridian. 20 minutes later. The place was packed. People from all over the states were here. There were some people that were dressed up as characters from Five Nights at Freddy's, like the security guards. Some were looking like the purple guy. I was dressed as the purple guy underneath my Springtrap costume. We looked at all different types of booths. Then we stumbled upon an old one, with a man wearing a trench coat and fedora. I saw a purple guy's knife and security badge, and Cassidy saw Elena's vampire teeth. We went up to the counter and I asked, "Hello, can we buy these, please?" The man smiled, almost evenly. "Of course!" We had a bad feeling that something was going to happen. We had to jinx ourselves, didn't we? There was a flash of bright light, so bright that we were blind. Then darkness. Chapter 1. What in Celestia's name? Meanwhile, in Equestria, Princess Twilight Sparkle was tired. It had been a long day. First, she had to go to Canterlot to talk to Princess Celestia and have tea. Then she's been having this massive headache all day and won't subside. She sighed while laying down on her queen-sized bed that was in the Friendship Castle. She fell asleep. Unknown, the flash of light was emanating in her home, and it disappeared, leaving a golden-green pony that had rips in his fur, and there was mechanical parts showing through the torso and legs, even organs of something that used to be alive. He had a slasher smile, and half of his right ear was half the size of the left. There was a flash of light in the Everfree forest, and there lay a female changeling with bent wings, as if they were deformed in the first place. She had a necklace with a red ruby that was glowing dimly in the dark. Time skip. Morning. Twilight woke up to the sound of loud screaming. That was Spike and Starlight and Nyx, she thought. She jumped out of her comfortable bed and down the long flight of stairs and into the main living area. She froze in horror and shock at the scene. Standing there, head twitching rapidly, was the pony that arrived last night. She didn't know. Starlight Glimmer and Spike and Nyx was to the back wall, staring at it in fear. Nyx's wings quivering. The pony turned to her. "Male?" "Yeah, a male because of the body shape," she thought. She listened as he spoke in a gravely demonic voice, as if his vocal cords are broken. "Help me." Then the pony sat down and put his front hooves to his head, one on the top of it, the other on his bottom jaw. The pony forced his top portion of his head upward, and it went up, as if it was a window. His gray metallic eyes disappeared and then reappeared, sunken in the eye sockets of a stallion. But he was a full-grown stallion, deducing by the age of his mane, which was a purple color, as well as his coat. His face was protruded with bits of metal, but looks fine. Then, the front door to the castle knocked. Twilight, even though a little horrified, looked away from the stallion to the door, then back. He understood, the mask coming back down, the purple stallion hidden away behind it. Even though they just met and never even spoke one word, Twilight felt that he was friendly. She trusted her gut instinct. She looked at Spike and Starlight and Nyx, and she saw that they were uncertain and were staring at her. She smiled at them. They calmed down a bit. Twilight went to the large crystal doors and opened the left one. Twilight said, "Hello?" Then she looked up into the face of her former mentor and fellow princess, Princess Celestia. The alabaster white alicorn smiled with a motherly expression. "Hello, Twilight." Twilight immediately said, "Princess!" The lavender alicorn immediately bowed. A chuckle was heard from Celestia. The alicorn in question used her hoof to lift Twilight up from her bow to stand. Now, my dear Twilight, how many times have we gone through this?" Twilight blushed, realizing that she was an alicorn and not the unicorn student she was most of her life. She chuckled nervously. "Right. Forgot that." Both of the alicorns giggled. Twilight realized something. "Oh! I forgot. Come on in. I'm sorry that I forgot to let you come in." She opened the large door wider enough to let Celestia to gracefully stride in. Twilight closed the door and trotted beside Celestia to keep up. The lavender alicorn asked as they trotted into the main living area, where Twilight encountered the strange pony that mysteriously appeared. "So, what brings you here?" Celestia was about to answer when Spike was about to fall off the ladder that was attached to one of the bookshelves that were filled with books. Knowledge. The height was enough to cause even a baby dragon to get seriously injured, or worse. Looks like time slowed down. Both Twilight and Celestia were about to activate levitation and cushioning spells for the falling baby dragon, when the strange earth pony that arrived last night appeared. The stallion easily jumped up and grabbed him, falling onto his back, tucking Spike between his hooves, safe and sound. The glow of Celestia and Twilight's horns fizzed out. The baby dragon was let go from the robotic earth pony and was sitting on his rear, trying to get his bearings. Celestia, meanwhile, was looking at the pony that saved the dragon. His breath was raspy and shallow, but otherwise fine. The pony slowly got up, painfully, from the fall that he took. The pony looked around and saw the princess. The pony tilted his head to the side, with his mouth open a bit. "Hello!" A voice that was glitchy and seemed to be really baritone came from the pony's mouth. Celestia smiled. "Hello." The mellow pony seemed to be analyzing her, it seems, since it kept looking at her, then seemed to be thinking for a moment. He snapped out of it when Celestia continued, a curious expression on her face. She'd never seen a pony like this before, yet something bothered her. "Why are you not bowing, my little pony?" The pony blinked, as if coming out of a trance. Then he seemed to soften his expression and replied, "Because you feel sick and tired when being called your majesty all the time." Celestia's eyes widened a very small margin, almost unnoticeable to the naked eye, yet it was noticeable to him. She gained her composure a bit and shot a suspicious look at him. "If I was feeling that theoretically, how do you know what I feel, my little pony?" The pony smiled a bit more gently. "Your eyes say so." Celestia thought to herself after that, "That is true. I have wanted to find a pony that can treat me normally," she thought as the pony seemed to look around the bookshelves, then went to one and took off a random book and flipped open the book, not even looking at the cover. He read for a few seconds, then he slammed the book closed and stared ahead with a horrified expression as he could make, eyes twitching with little clicks and whirs as if glitching. Celestia quietly went beside him and then looked at the book in question. Then she blushed. "I think you chose the wrong book. What is your name?" The pony then slapped himself and shook his head to get rid of bad and life-scarring images. He looked towards the alicorn and said, "My name is Springtrap." Celestia tilted her head to the side in confusion, but she still had the same motherly smile on her lips. "Springtrap? That's an odd name for a pony, don't you think?" Springtrap seemed to be thinking, then he shrugged. Twilight was about to say something. Then she was interrupted by Nyx walking up to Springtrap. "Nyx, don't go near him. We don't know what his intentions are." Her tone was filled in a way a panicked mother would sound like. Nix hesitated, but continued anyways. The mechanical earth pony looked down at the alicorn filly. His eyes filled with curiosity, yet a bit of recognition. Nix from past sins? Am I in the universe from Penstroke? He thought as he asked.
Yes, little one.
Nix seemed to utter out a eep at the demonic yet pony-like voice of the mechanical earth pony, but she continued. Why do you look scary? Aren't you hurt from all those holes? Springtrap's head jerked back in surprise. That was not what I was expecting. The human-turned-animatronic pony thought as he blinked in confusion. After a moment of thinking, he replied,
I was not always like this.
He gestured to himself with a hole-ridden hoof. It continued after seeing the confused expressions on the smaller ponies and interested looks on the solar alicorn and Nix.
My original name was Spring Bonnie. I used to be an entertainer for colts and fillies alike, along with my old friend, Fredbear.